Joining me in the studio are Tony Award-winning Broadway producers and Newton residents, Candy Gold and Heni Koenigsberg. Their musical Hadestown, which follows the mythical quest of Orpheus to overcome Hades, won 8 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. Congratulations to you both. Now, Candy, this has been a long time coming for you. I know you've been talking about it with me for a while.
Love theater, love the process. Waited a long time to have a show that was this amazing. I've been nominated a couple times, but we had a good feeling. We knew we loved this show. We knew audiences loved this show. And it was a nail biter, but we did it.
You did it.
Yay!
Now, Heni, this is not your first Tony Award.
No, I'm a little superstitious, so please don't ask me how many, but I will tell you it's more than 5. But
Okay.
Each one is really special and unique. So I will say this was particularly special, and to share it with Candy and the other folks in our group was really pretty wonderful.
Let's talk about the beginning. How did this musical come about? Like, what brought it to your attention?
About it first,
So
independently of each other, yeah.
this, first of all, correct. I did hear about it a couple years ago. I was involved in a musical called The Band's Visit, which won the Tony Award last year. And it was up against this little musical called Hadestown, which had first come to the New York Theater Workshop a few years ago. And this had been in development for 11 years. It started out as a concept album that Anais Mitchell wrote. I think, was she still in college? I think she was still in college when
No,
she
she
wrote
went
it.
to Middlebury, and she was from Burlington, Vermont, and she started writing it up there.
And would take this as a troubadour on buses all across the country, and showed it to one of the lead producers on the show, and Dale Franzen. And Dale then got, I think Rachel came on board, then our director, and Chavkin, who also won a Tony Award, one of the Tony Awards. And it just grew, and it then went to Canada. It was still in development. Then this past fall, it went to London. Candy and I spoke about this last summer.
Yeah.
And we said, oh, we have to be part of this. This music is so special. This story is so wonderful, and the voices were incredible. We love the director. We love the direction it was going in, and we wanted to sort of help it get to Broadway.
And that's the feeling that you had?
Well,
that's what attracted you to this?
I loved the music, and I fell in love with the music. Anais Mitchell has done lots of concerts at Passim's and lots of clubs in the area, and my involvement was 8 years ago. I went to see Ani DeFranco at the Wilbur Theater, and Anais was opening, and I stood outside with a friend from Newton, and we were listening to the opening act while standing outside, and we said, we should go in. This is really good. Became a fan that night, and then when I was reading about the show, and I said, oh my gosh, that girl that opened for Ani DeFranco is writing this musical, and I read about the history, and I remember very specifically calling Heni and saying, what do you know about this? And she called me back, and I happened to be in an eye doctor appointment at Newton Wellesley Hospital on August 8th, 2018, and I walked out into the hallway at Newton Wellesley and went, how do we get on this show? Work your magic, get us on this show. I love this show, I love this music, I'm a super fan. And she did. Presto changeo, she did.
A lot of it is timing. So I had chased the show for a couple of years, and things started to fall into place. I called a friend who had another friend. She was going to London, and it just all came together in December.
Oh,
so
nice.
it was late in the game. It was late in the game. We were very excited, though.
I bet.
Yeah.
So what's it like to work together? Because have you two worked together before?
Not on a show.
We're on.
Well, I was an investor in the Band's Visit, so
Okay.
sort of through that, but sort of that together. But no, this was hourly, daily, if not hourly, phone calls and deals and talking to our group and figuring things out and writing notes. And you see the show and you say, this should be changed, that shouldn't be changed. Let's write to our lead producer. Let's figure out what we do to make it better. And we just had a very collaborative team that all wanted the good of the show. And we worked.
That's exactly what happened. And
A lot of talking.
Precisely. A lot of talking back and forth. And then, of course, awards season comes along, and then there's
you're
even more
nominated-
talking. And we're
Nominated
nominated
for
for
14 nominations, correct? And you won 8.
It was
So let's
pretty
go to
incredible.
that particular night, which was just a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
What was it like to
Week
see
ago.
the cast
ago.
and the crew, being the winner, walking up there and seeing them on the stage? That must have been, amazing to feel that you were a part of this, not knowing that, in fact, that you were going to win, Best Music.
You never know. You
Nailed
never
it.
know, and you can't count on anything. And when you hear, like, the first award is for lighting design
Right.
and sound design, and the first female is, winning for sound design, never won before. And then you see the smaller awards, and they start racking up. And I've had that feeling before, and you get hopeful, but you're just sitting there, and because you really can't count on anything. You really
true.
never know. There are a bunch of precursor awards, like the Drama League Awards, which Hadestown had won, and the Outer Critics Circle Award. But still, you're sitting there. It's live TV, a live award. So you're building anticipation, and you just sit there, and you are celebrating all the other shows that have been nominated as well. It was a wonderful season, actually.
Yeah, they looked all great. But for you, Candy, walking up when they said Hadestown wins for Best Musical, you walking up, I guess, kind of bring us through that one, because you've been waiting for this for quite some time.
I have, and they, God bless, they all know it. I've tortured them. They said, I think I was deep in prayer, and all I kept remembering was, because a lot of our co-producers were in the aisle with me, and I was in the aisle seat, and I just shot up, and I got out into the main aisle, and it was like a tidal wave. Everybody's pushing you forward, and I just keep thinking, don't trip, don't fall, don't embarrass yourself. And then you climb up the stairs, and I realized I sort of couldn't make a place for myself to the right, so I looped around the back and got right up to the front of the stage, and honestly thought of my husband and children. And then there's a moment, you can see it on the tape, where I look out and into the lights, and it was very bright, and that was my Newton moment. That's when I went, everyone's in Newton watching this. I'm doing this for Newton. I wanted this. There's Broadway people were in the room, so I didn't need to do it for them. It was Newton that I was thinking about in that moment. So it was very, very fun.
That is fun. So this obviously wasn't your first time up,
But it's really exciting each and every time. And I will say, I was standing with one of our partners on the show, and I'm thinking, where's Candy? Where's Candy? I need to see Candy's face. I need to know what that's like. But it is so exciting. It's so thrilling to be up there. And I think of all my investors, and I'm like, there's part of me that's going, yeah, we got a hit, guys. This is really coming home. And there's something really quite wonderful about going back to your investors saying, this is a financial success, and this is wonderful. And that is it's a bottom line. For me, it's a bottom line, and for them, and it's exciting. And there's validation that happens each and every time that you're up there, and it's terrific. And these people who worked so hard, what a cast. And it was pretty unique and special that it was helmed, the entire project was helmed by women. And
that's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
great.
wonderful. She was the only female, Rachel was the only female director nominated this season.
Wow.
Which,
That's kind of
right.
You thought we had come a little bit further than
well,
that.
she mentioned that in her speech too.
Yeah.
The importance of that.
Yeah, that's
pretty
amazing.
important.
Yes, very important, actually.
It was.
All right, so now that you've finished this part, what's next? Okay, what's on the plate now?
Well, I have a show that is opening in the fall that we did at the American Repertory Theater in Cambridge, and it's called Jagged Little Pill, based on the music of Alanis Morissette. So another real music-forward show, which I love. And then I'll do whatever Heni tells me to do.
Oh no, stop, Candy. That's not true. I'm looking.
Looking. So
I'm
you're on the phone all the
very
time.
careful all the time. I'm going to see a new show in development this weekend. I've been looking at new shows. I really look at shows now, and I have to evaluate their artistic merit and then if it's something that I think holds that kind of merit and interest for me, I take a look at the financials, the structure, who the general partners are, who the general management is. And if that makes sense, then I think about the commercial viability of the show. Because if it's going to Broadway, that's really commercial.
Yes.
That's different than off-Broadway, where you can be more experimental. And I have to know who is the target audience. Because that's changed over time.
Very much so.
And we're finding more and more that millennials are speaking louder than ever. In fact, on Hadestown, we find that the millennials adore this show, and they go to see the show, and they get out of the show, and at 11 o'clock, they get right back into the rush line and sleep all night. Candy has pictures
I do.
of them sleeping out there, getting tickets for
Oh,
the
they-
next day.
That
That's
demographic
amazing.
has
That's
been
huge.
Yeah.
largely
That's huge.
responsible for the show's success. Usually, you think of a demographic in theater as being sort of an older woman that has some financial disposable income to be able to go to theater. But this show started with the enthusiasm and the support of the millennials, and then their parents went and their
Right.
friends went, and now
And
just
now it's all the
everybody's
doors
going.
are open,
Yeah.
and that's
And I'm halfway kidding, but Heni's approach to producing sort of is what a lot of
Gold
us
standard,
think about.
basically,
And she's talking about getting involved with the team and the producers and the leads and looking at the numbers. I have not really done many blockbusters because for me the budgets were just too big. And so I have sort of made some good decisions with Dear Evan Hansen or Jagged Little Pill or Hadestown to be in a medium budget show that was going to maybe recoup its investments a little bit faster than some of the big blockbusters that maybe have staying power for 20 years to come or 50 years to come. But I knew that this would be financially sound and better for my income bracket to do that.
Well, it's amazing, and congratulations again, ladies. That's
thank you.
amazing.
Thank you.
And especially Candy. I know, Candy, you've had more than 5. We're not going to give the number, but
Because I've
more than 5.
that's
How's
right,
that?
more than 5. But I know that Candy's been waiting for a long
But
time.
also, my
great.
co-producers were like, if she doesn't win,
we
will never hear the end.
It was the truth. That was true. That was
I
totally
believe that.
true.
I believe that. Well, congratulations again, ladies.
Thank
Well,
you,
thank you so
Jen.
much.
Thank you for coming on. And Newton News will be right back.